So I want to make this video to talk about over time, how much your life can change. And I just thought about this because right now I'm, running my business. It's a Monday morning. I have different meetings this afternoon. I got my wife and kids inside and I'm doing just some chores, right? I got to go feed the chickens. So I'll probably pause the video in a minute, but it's like I have a lot going on and I've built myself to be able to handle that. A lot of people get really distracted or lost in not having purpose. And it's really like this silent epidemic that people have. But I'm making this video because I want to share with you some things that I do that work really well to be able to handle having a lot of responsibility. One of my mentors and dear friends, he is a guy who's made a lot of money, has an awesome life, has kids, grandkids, all that. I mean, this guy's made, over $20-30 million. And he taught me early on that responsibility equals wealth. So we were taught in school growing up that, responsibility is doing chores, and it usually has a negative connotation with it. If you think of the word responsibility, generally it's going to not feel very good, but you can redefine it so that responsibility equals wealth. And I'll explain that in a moment, but I got to feed these chickens. So here's an example of responsibility, right? Unexpectedly, the red light went out. And so we got some frozen water. So I got to go finesse this freaking water situation. So anyway, makeshift solution. This will freeze, but it'll work. So anyway, yeah, it's like random little unexpected things will come up in your day. And usually you wake up, you have a plan for the day, right? Everybody typically does that. But then you go throughout the day and then you get hit with all these curveballs, right? There's things you forgot to plan, all that. So you have to really balance these two polar opposites, which is chaos and order. Imagine chaos is like everything going everywhere. Like total chaos. Look at my cat. He's going crazy. He's straight sprinting. I never seen him sprint. You got chaos and order, right? What the hell? I don't know if he's just showing off or what, but hey, day in the life here. But I'm bringing this all back to this idea of responsibility as wealth, because responsibility is you bringing order to the chaos. Think about it. Why is responsibility wealth? Well, because if you're not going to take responsibility, you're definitely not going to be able to handle continually making money and making that money work for you. And if you don't have responsibility, you're not going to show up and do the work consistently. Like what I've found over the years of being an entrepreneur is that money flows toward stability. Meaning if you're stable and you consistently add value to people around you or to your market, you end up being like a stable point where then people trust you. But if you don't show up on time, you make these commitments and you don't stick to them, or you're just all over the place or whatever, or you ghost people for 3 weeks, people don't trust you. It's a subconscious thing, but we're hardwired to trust people who have stability. So again, bring this all back now to the main point. Sounded like I saw a hawk up there. I heard a hawk. Dang. It's a lively day out here. I'm bringing this up because it's like, I see so many guys specifically, it's men and women, but it's a little bit more for the guys, where you have a goal of what you want to create, right? It's just turned the new year here. I'm sure you have a goal, 10 goals, whatever, and you want to go crush it. You want to have that vision manifested in your life. But when you don't show up consistently and do the work over and over, the goal isn't going to magically happen because you think about it. Now, thinking can be extremely powerful if it's done right. And if you can get your unconscious mind to think automatically for you, that's also great. But the ability to show up day after day, that's what I want to get into here. So I realized this, from years and years of being into self-development and entrepreneurship, but also, for example, I'm outside right now. I don't know what the temperature is. I think it's probably 8 degrees. And I'm not cold. I'm wearing literally just a sweatshirt and, my hat. It's sunny. It's nice. But it's like, the reason that I'm able to do this is because my body has adapted. Like I'll do cold plunges and I'll do sauna and stuff like that. But there's a cumulative effect of your ability to handle stressors. And actually your body, your mitochondria, and you have brown fat, there's this whole science to it. But it's really fascinating that you can create your own heat as a human. We were never taught that as kids. That's an example. It's like a little microcosm of how it works to have success. You do the right things, you do them long enough, and you do it consistently with the right mindset and the right thinking coupled with it. That is really the formula. And if you keep getting distracted all day, well, what are you then thinking about? What are you then focused on? What are you then doing? So it's like, imagine it like this. Imagine you, and then you got your goal. And let's say your goal is 1,000 steps that way. If in the average day, you're maybe taking 1 or 2 steps, it's going to take you forever versus someone who can take 20 steps a day or 40 steps a day every day. You know, maybe you take 1 day off every week, but it's like, how many steps are you getting done? And so write out for yourself. I came up with this phrase the other day. I forget exactly what it is. Maybe I'll put it in the comments. But it's like, let's just call them distraction triggers. So as you go throughout the day, notice and write down for yourself every time you get distracted from what you're actually attempting to do, and just make a note of it. If it's opening Facebook, if it's, you get a text, right? If you're still a noob and you're getting notifications on your phone and they're popping up, right? And every time you get an email, that's coming on your screen. Like, you got to change that. You know, the only thing I accept to come through is texts and calls. And then I leave my phone in do not disturb pretty much all day long. Because I have times where I check my stuff. I have time where I check my email. I do it twice a day. I have time where I check my Facebook inbox. I do it twice a day. But it's like that ability to take control of your life and to control the things you can control, and then to start directing things, that gives you that power. It gives you that compound effect. And then over months and years, it becomes profound what you can create. Now, I also want to bring in, though, that I know a lot of people who have a lot of discipline, and they go to the gym and they're in great shape, and they put in the work, and they're working on their business, but it's still not changing. So this is the other part. So the distractions that you have are also on a subconscious and unconscious level. Let me explain distraction, right? So I'll give you a real clear example. Let's say you have you, and then you have someone who is some extremely effective, let's say, entrepreneur, all right? I know a lot of people who listen to my videos are into business and that kind of thing, but you could apply it to whatever your goal is, right? If you just want to be a good mom or a good dad, whatever. But let's say there's you, and everything you were raised with when you were a kid got programmed into you. And then you have someone like, let's say, Bill Gates, where by the time he was 8, he was reading books for, 2-3 hours a day. He was, learning how to code computers by the time he was 10. Which one of you is going to have more success in business? If you grew up maybe having a little exposure to business, but on a subconscious, unconscious level, when all those platforms were laid down and the hardwiring of your brain was like, you're just watching Disney movies and just having fun with your friends, versus someone like a Bill Gates who was trained from day one to basically be ruthless. And his dad was one of the top lawyers in Seattle, and his mom was literally on the board of United Way. Bill Gates' mom introduced him to Warren Buffett. So again, I'm giving you this example so you can see there's a fundamentally different level in your capacity to how fast you can learn and grow and change on an unconscious level. Because if you have the unconscious programming of someone who's programmed for success, it's not that hard to succeed. But if you're someone who, you might have a lot of discipline, you might work really hard, but you don't have the skill set and the vocabulary and the programming and the understanding and the belief systems to have success, you're fighting an uphill battle every freaking day of your life. Okay? I'll give you another example. Let's say you have trauma from your childhood. Let's say when you were a kid, you got bullied. Okay? And maybe you kind of forgot about it, or maybe you didn't forget about it, but it's in there. And now every time you see a certain type of person, you maybe see them as superior to you, or you see other people as inferior to you. Every single day now where you see certain people, you're unconsciously going to give your energy and your power to a judgment program. And you're going to judge people as, are they superior to me? Are they inferior to me? And this is all happening unconsciously. So think about it. Every day you have like a finite amount of power. You have like only so much energy and effort you can put into things. And now if unconsciously that's getting all diverted to random shit that's not helping you, like, judging people as inferior, superior, or avoiding certain things, or obsessing over the wrong thing, or again, just getting distracted generally. It's like an energetic distraction you're having. Your willpower and your power as a human being, which you have a lot of power, but it's not getting channeled properly. Or on an unconscious level, you're going that way, and on a conscious level, you're trying to go that way, and there's a bunch of conflict. There's another video I made on this called Counter Intention. So you can have all the intentions in the world of being amazing and hitting all your New Year's goals and all that. But if you have counter intention fighting you every step of the way, that's a tricky situation. So there's 3 steps you can do for this, right? So first is awareness. And awareness is going to be starting with those distractions. So like make that note for yourself, and just over the next day, write down distraction triggers. What triggers you? What comes up? If it's thoughts, if it's memories, you'll start to see it. So the first step is awareness. You got to be aware of what you're working with. Because again, if your goal is to get way over there, you want to get to LA and you're starting in New York, right? But you're driving a little bike that keeps breaking down, you're probably not going to get to LA. You're probably going to justify settling in in a couple miles from New York. Versus if you want to get to LA and you're in New York and you could build yourself a hypersonic jet, you're going to get there pretty dang fast. And then you get to LA and then you realize, okay, now I want to go here. Now I want to go here. And then you can help other people do the same. So the first step is awareness. You got to be aware of where you're not equipped to get there and where you're getting distracted. Now the next step is then deprogramming, because again, you can have all the conscious thoughts in the world of how you want to change and grow and have positive vision and a vision board and all that. It doesn't matter, because it's not getting into yourself at the hardware level, at the circuitry level, deep down. So you have to deprogram all of this. There are 2 ways you can do the deprogramming, and I've made other videos on these. One is a writing process, and another is there's technology you can use to deprogram this systematically and rapidly in a way where you can prove it to yourself that it's gone. And then the third step here, so again, first step is awareness, second step is deprogramming, the third step is then reprogramming. You have to put now the right command in, but it's not just one command. It's like 4,000 commands you got to put in. Because if you are not raised to totally crush it in life and have a happy life and be amazing and thriving and have a thriving community around you, which none of us were actually programmed for that. We were all programmed for survival and self-interest. Now, some of us, like again, if your parents were maybe lawyers, you're probably going to have a more effective vocabulary. It's probably going to be easier for you to succeed in the world. If your parents were a real estate entrepreneur and they had no problem making money, you're probably going to have better money programming. If your parents really struggled with money and paying the bills, generally your programming around money is going to be a bit more difficult. Now, don't get me wrong. I know some people can have they can grow up in poverty and then they can make a decision and they really don't want that poverty. So then they shift and then they go crush it in business. But then typically somewhere else in their life suffers. Could be their relationships, maybe they're getting divorced, maybe they have health issues, things like that. What I'm interested in is all around human thriving. And I want that for you and for everyone who watches this video and then for everyone around you, because it's possible. But again, first step is awareness, second step is deprogramming, third step is reprogramming. If you're interested in this and you see this, go in the description and you can message me on Facebook and you can actually tell me like, hey, I'm interested in this, or hey, I keep sabotaging myself here, or hey, I keep getting distracted here. And based on that, and if I see I can help, I can send you more videos and more trainings on exactly how you can do the deprogramming and the reprogramming, as well as we have community for this. So we have our Facebook group, Self-Perfected group. And then we also have here where I am in Minnesota, we have a local mastermind, and we meet every single week on Saturdays. And it's the people that are actually committed to changing this for ourselves, but also for the world. Because what good is it if just you're happy and you're crushing it and you live in your little gated community, but every time you go downtown or every time you go to the grocery store, you see that there are people starving, suffering, right? I care about that greater change. That's why I make these videos, okay? And that's what I've learned over the past however many years I've been an entrepreneur and into self-development. I've figured out quite a few things, and I'll bring it all the way back now full circle. So the point is, note your distractions. Don't try and avoid them, and just get it out on paper so you can have awareness. But then you got to start to look at what is going on a deeper level so you can get that deprogrammed. and then reprogram in what you want to have happen. Because when that's working, you can create stuff so quickly, it's phenomenal. Like, I have stories and stories and stories. I'm not going to get into it here, but just even in the past 2 weeks, the people that I've met here locally, the connections that I've made, how one door opens another, opens another, opens another. It's like these chain reactions of really good things happen. It's because on an unconscious level, I am programmed to have success. And then on a conscious level, I also think about success. So there's alignment there. So now it's like I just expect things to generally work out well. Now, I'm always looking at how do I play at a higher level? And then I have new people come in, right? New situations happen, all that. So I have to keep working on myself too. But it's like you can get a lot of wins under your belt, and then it's awesome. And then you have real confidence, right? Everyone wants confidence or more confidence. You get confidence through actually doing the right things and then having wins under your belt. And then you can trust yourself. And then we can really start to play and we can have an awesome life. Okay? So if you found value in this and you want to connect on this, find me on Facebook, shoot me a message, and just say, hey, I watched your video on distractions, and then we can connect. All right, cheers.